الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم لا تؤاخذني بما يقولون واغفر لي ما لا يعلمون واجعلني خيرا مما يظنون. Asalaamu Aleykum wa barakatuh. And my brother Shuja', the student leadership, and all of you, the rest of you, my children, I am really happy to see you guys. And I've seen there's a lot of development that actually transpired since I left here. I do remember this masjid, I was one of the imams. Where now the masjid ends used to be what we used to call a corridor or a veranda. And it was only up to this place. We didn't have this lush carpet that you guys have. We actually used to pray on those darin. You guys know darin? Huh? So we used to pray on those. So a lot of things have gone, have changed, things have developed. During my time, let alone cell phone, we didn't even have a telephone. So I remember used to be, there's a house of Uncle Fulani that actually has a telephone, so you go there when someone wants to call you. So if I have to call you on Wednesday, I will go there on Monday. I'll say I'm going to call Ahmed on Wednesday, so please let him go. Let him know. And so on Wednesday, I'll go there and sit down and I'll wait for your call. This is how the life we live it. We never had these kind of things that you guys have right now. You guys have a lot of enjoyments. We never had those things. But my point is not to talk about those changes. My point is to talk to you as a Muslim youth who is actually carrying in his shoulder the responsibility of the leadership of this ummah for tomorrow and the survival of this deen tomorrow. If you all here who are sitting here, if you will not carry on this message, the deen that the Prophet ﷺ came up with, and you have no plan to carry this, then we are in a danger of actually losing the deen itself and being wiped out of the hearts and the minds of the Muslims. But if you people volunteer, if you decide that I'm a Muslim and Islam is my number one and I want to actually kind of carry this message out, then we have hope that Islam will live on to the next generation. So you are actually indeed the messengers of the generations that are coming. Just like our forefathers were the messengers for us, they passed on the baton to us, and they passed on the deen to us, and we took it up, and now the ulamas like Sheikh Shuja' here, that's what they're trying to do. So then the time will come when you as a person or as an individual or as a group or as students or as a society, that you will have actually to take this message and you have to embark on this journey of carrying this message and delivering it to the next generations. And the next generations, they're all in your backs right now. They are your future children and your future grandchildren. How are you going to make them this message reach them? How are you going to make them understand the deen? How are you going to make them sure that they are good Muslims? It starts right now. I'm not going to make it longer for you guys about this message of deen, but one thing I want to make you understand is this, that you as a Muslim individual, as a Muslim society, a Muslim community, your success in this dunya and the hereafter depends on you and connecting yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have the means to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and connect ourselves with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to develop a special relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you have to develop a sacred relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Each one of us here should have a secret between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you actually have one thing that you do all the time, or you do a couple things that you do all the time that connects you direct to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you are guaranteed a success in this dunya and the hereafter. Let me tell you, my youngsters here, that Shafi'i rahimahullah used to say this. This is a saying that is very common and everybody knows that has studied the life of Shafi'i. You all understand that Imam Shafi'i was a very intelligent person. He was somebody who was actually quick to memorize things. He had a very sharp mind. Correct? So now I'm going to give you two of his stories, actually three of his stories. Do you know and do you understand, how many of you know that who was the first teacher of Imam Shafi'i? Do you guys know? Do you know that Imam Malik was actually what you call a teacher for Imam Shafi'i? Did you guys know that? No? They didn't teach you this thing in Islamic history? So Imam Malik was actually older than Shafi'i, and when Imam Shafi'i was a youngster, he was learning under the leadership and the guidance of who? Imam Malik, right? And Imam Malik, he actually saw this student, this very sharp-minded student, this student who is focused, who is laser-focused actually on understanding things and memorizing things. And when he was surprised, he said, "Araka u'tika nuran. فَلَا تُطْفِئَهَا بِالْمَعَاصِي." He said, I see you've been given a light. Do not extinguish this light with what? With disobedience. With disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So now Imam Shafi'i grows up and he becomes a teenager and he becomes like you guys. And I'm sure some of you are 17, 18, 19, 20, right? This is a time when you walk around in the street and you see a woman and you're like, she looks good. Right? You guys don't do that? And sometimes you don't do like that, but you go like this. Right? The little ones, right? So this is the time you do that. It's normal. It's part of growing up. You know, when now that you're attracted to the opposite sex. And you guys, I'm sure, if you do physics, the first thing you learn is the opposite things do what? What they do? They attract, right? Then when you have the negative pole and the positive pole, you put them together, they attract each other, they connect together, and then you put the positive, they repel. You guys, do you remember the experiences in physics? Right? How many of you do in physics here? Very few, okay. So those who do physics, they know that, right? This is a very common thing. So now it's natural for you guys to do that. So Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, one day he was walking down the street. And so something happened. And so he was not able to memorize the way he used to memorize. And Imam Shafi'i complained to another teacher of his. His other teacher is called Waqi', right? And so he says, Shakot is a poem. He says, Shakot ila waqi'in su'a hifdi, فأرشدني إلى ترك المعاصي فأخبرني بأن العلم نور ونور الله لا يؤته لعاصٍ. Right? So he says, I complained to Waqi', my teacher Waqi', I complained. Why am I complaining? Because of my poor memorization skills. All of a sudden I cannot memorize things. And he says, فأرشدني إلى ترك المعاصي. He has guided me to stop disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To actually stop disobedience. And then he says, فَأَخْبَرْنِي بِأَنَّ الْعِلْمَ النُّورِ. And he told me that, he taught me that ilm or the knowledge is what? Is a light. وَنُورُ اللَّهِ لَا يُؤْتَى عَلَىٰ. And the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not given to who? To a disobedient person. You want to become a smart person. You want to become a person who understands things quickly. You want to memorize a lot of things. Number one thing you have to do is connect yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أُتْرُكِ الْمَعَاصِ وَاكْثِرِ طَاعَاتِ. That, stop disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and start obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot. How can you guys obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It's simple. You guys have no responsibility except for yourself. The responsibility you have now is only two. To make sure that you eat and you clean and you actually shower, right? And you go to class. That's all it is you have, guys. Right? That's all the responsibility you have. Do you feed children? Do you pay rent? Do you even guys pay your school fees? No, right? When you have no book, you want to buy a nice book, where you go to? To your parents, right? To an uncle somewhere, to a friend somewhere, to, what you call a relative. When you want to buy a nice, shoes, nice ma'awis, where you go? Right? You have no responsibility, you have no income. So now your only responsibility is yourself, personal self, and for your education. That's all you have now. That's all you have to do. Right? So then, you actually, if you look at it as a student, you have fewer opportunities to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know why? Because the adult, when he goes to work, he has to actually earn an income, right? And so he has a challenge, or she or he has a challenge to actually make sure the income they're getting is halal. Correct? Do you have that challenge? No. So when somebody go out, they're working, they have a challenge too, because I want to make sure when I go work, I work diligently and I work sincerely so that my income becomes halal. You don't have that responsibility. So you have very few opportunities to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All you have to do is lower your gaze, control your desires, and focus on your school. That's all. Right? Then you gotta focus, you have enough time to focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let me tell you guys this. Shafi'i says something else that I always carry around with me. And I try to share with everybody that I know. This is what I share with them. Shafi'i understood the deen properly. And he understood the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because he was an imam, right? And we know this because his a'mal, or his actually what the work was actually accepted, because now we study Shafi'i, right? We keep on saying قال Shafi'i, right? Imam Shafi'i say this, Imam Shafi'i say this. This is actually what we call alamat al-qubul, right? There were many scholars during his time, but they're not mentioned, right? There are only few scholars who actually been mentioned. So what happens then? He says this: من أراد الدنيا فعليه بالقرآن ومن أراد الآخرة فعليه بالقرآن ومن أرادهما فعليه بالقرآن. You want to succeed in this dunya, you want to be successful in this dunya, hold on to the Quran. You want to succeed in the hereafter, hold on to the Quran. Some of us here, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us this. He told us during the Sahaba. He told the Sahaba in Uhud, منكم من يريد dunya ومنكم من يريد. Yeah, during the Sahaba, some they wanted that bounty. They wanted to really get, those gold and those kind of, like bounty. Their job was actually, their focus was to fight for that, right? And there was some, their all purpose was just to go and get akhirah, be killed and become a jihad, or get the ajr of a jihad, right? So for us here, I'm sure some of us, we want the dunya. No doubt. We're not focused about the akhirah. I'm like, Somalis are very rude. They'll tell you, right? You tell a Somali, fear Allah, akhirah be behind after you. He says, no, first I gotta get there first. I'm gonna actually do dunya now. I'm in dunya now, right? So that person who wants to focus on the dunya, your success on the dunya depends on what? On what? On what? On the Quran. On the Quran. So what does that mean? There's some of us here, I'm sure there's some of us here who don't care about the dunya. The dunya comes to them, but they don't want the dunya. They succeed. Everything they do, they succeed. They touch something, they succeed. They don't want the dunya, but it comes to them. Right? Their focus is where? Akhirah. Now that person also should do what? Where is the road to the akhirah? The Quran, right? There are some of us here again, another group that wants both of them. I want to be successful in this dunya and also be successful in the hereafter. Who said no to that? Because Allah says, قُلْ مَنْ حَرَّمَ الزِّينَةَ الَّتِي أَخْرَجَ لِعِبَادِهِ وَالطَّيِّبَاتِ مِنَ الرِّزْقِ قُلْ هِيَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَيْنَ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Right? It is for those who are believers, the good things in life, they know the things that we desire, the good stuff, the good life, it's for the mu'minun in this dunya. Khalisatan is specific. When? Yawm al-Qiyamah, right? So as a Muslim, there's nothing wrong seeking this dunya and seeking the hereafter. Go through the Quran. So here's what I'm going to tell you guys, is that if you want both of them, then you should hold on to the Quran. I am yet to see somebody who took up the message of Quran and who actually failed in the dunya, in this dunya. I haven't seen. Someone who actually took the message of the Quran and is a miserable person. I've never seen yet. I'm yet to see. If you've seen that person, I am looking for him. Someone who is holding on to the Quran. Now, what does it mean hold on to the Quran? Does it mean just every morning I wake up, I read 10 juz? Does it mean that? No. Holding on to the Quran means reciting it and also what? Acting upon it. Acting what? Upon it. Right? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. Right? You read the ayah? And then you go to school and you chit. Is that sadaq? Is that sidq? Because Allah is telling you, all you who believe, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is calling upon you guys here, all of us here. We are believers here. That's why we're in the masjid. He's saying to us that be among, first of all, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then do what? وَكُونُوا مَعَهُ صَادِقِينَ. Be among the truth tellers. Now, when you were here, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years in a school and you're cheating in exams, are you ma'as sadiqin? Are you? Are you? Now, if I ask you guys to raise your hand, anybody who have not actually cheated in the exam, I think nobody will gonna raise their hand. Somewhere you cheated. Because this is why we are unable to succeed, because we are cheating every morning, we're cheating in every evening, and we're thinking we're cheating people, but we're actually cheating ourselves. Brothers, let me tell you this. When you cheat in your exam, you haven't studied anything. So when you walk out of this door after 4 years, you have nothing to do. Because you don't remember anything. There is no knowledge, because the reason for you doing exam is to see how much you have retained of the knowledge you've been given to you by teachers, right? Have you done that? Now, let me tell you this. I want to advise myself first that you, as an individual, your number one should be your deen. The dunya will follow you. The dunya will follow you. For sure, it will follow you. It will follow you wherever you are. Okay? Make sure. How many of us here that when you are tired at night, you wake up at night and you pray tahajjud? How many? How many of us here, when you wake up first thing in the morning, you start with salah first. You pray your fajr, and then you go look for your breakfast, then you go to class. And then after class is over, at night you go study, you go for preps, right? You guys do preps, right? Do you still do preps, Sheikh? Yes. Yeah, okay, so you go preps. Up to what time? 10 o'clock, right? Right? So you start until 10 o'clock. After you finish 10 o'clock, do you come to the masjid and you actually, pray 2 rak'ah? We do that? Do you do that? We don't do that, right? Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us this, that if you want to succeed, there's 2 things you have to do, guys. 2 things you have to do or you will succeed. Allah told us this. You want Allah to help you, you want Allah to assist you in this dunya, you got to seek help through 2 things. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ista'inu bis-sabri. MashaAllah, I have a lot of hafad here. You know, I could use a few of you guys where I am. I don't have many hafads there. Barakallahu feekum. Ista'inu was-salah. Allah is telling you that you have to seek Allah's help through what? Through what? Patience and what? And salah. Now I'll tell you what the patience comes with. Why am I talking about patience, guys? Why am I talking about this patience? I'll tell you about a story. This is something I learned. When I was class 7 or 7th grade, you guys know that, right? A brother called Salah Muhammad. He came to me. I am focused. I want to do good in my KCPE. Do they still do KCPE? Okay. I want to focus on my KCPE. I really want to get to national school. I'm really focused. I want to go to this school. Right? And I'm studying. And Salah Muhammad comes to me. And he says, Ahmed, I'm going to teach you something. I say, go ahead. I'm a student of, I'm here for knowledge, right? I'm sitting here in this class because of what? I want to get knowledge, right? I'm in the 7th class. And he says, listen, Ahmed, 2 things, if you do 2 things you can train. I'm like, what are those 2 things? He says, your mind and your body. I'm like, tell me more. He said, you can train your mind. He started with the body first. He said, you can train your body. He gave an example. He said, every day, if you have to run 2 kilometers, every day you wake up in the morning and you run for 2 kilometers, your body will get used to it, right? And so you run 2 kilometers and you're just fine, right? The other guy will run a half a kilometer and he will be tired, right? You'll be huffing and puffing. But you run 2 kilometers, it's fine. Your body, you got used to it. So he told me, the day you go 2.1 kilometers, what happens? You're tired that day. You have a muscle ache because your body has been trained to run 2 kilometers. You did not train your body to run what? 2.1 kilometers, right? So I said, okay, I didn't understand. Tell me what do you mean by this? He says you can train your body and you can sit for many hours, as many as you want to study. So you can sit for 2 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours you can sit. If you train your what? Yourself, right? So he said, if you want to study, if you want to really study, if you want to succeed in your education, you have to be able to invest time by sitting down and reading those books for hours and hours to come. Okay, I said, I got that point. How about the mind? He said, you can also train your body, your mind, by observing a lot of things. He said, for example, by actually retaining a lot of information. How, I say? He said, if you train your body, your mind, to actually memorize every day 4 or 5 pages, you can do that easily. You can go 5 pages, you can go 6 pages, you can go 20 pages, you can go 100 pages a day. You can do that. I use that information to actually memorize the Quran because I remember I used to memorize 10 pages a day of the Quran to become a Hafiz. Because Salih was a God sent, right? You know, sometimes Allah sends someone to you, right? Right? So, I use that method. I use exactly the method he gave it to me. To do what? To become what? To become Hafiz the Quran. I remember I used to go sit there and I start memorizing 1 juz, and by the time in Maghrib time, Asr time, I have memorized a half a juz, 10 pages. Today I see students struggling with half a page for a whole week. You give them half a page for a whole week, they come back, Sheikh Ma'aqani. I'm like, what are you doing? Right? And so this is what the gift Salih, my brother, he gave it to me. And I took that gift and I took it to heart. And so I trained myself to memorize a lot of things and to be able to retain information. And here what I do is this. I do not, depend on notebooks, on everything like that. I depend on my memory. When you want to tell me something, I will listen to you. You will tell me whatever you want to tell me. You come back 10 days later or 20 days later or 1 year later, I will still remember. Because why? I have trained myself to be able to remember things that I hear, things that I see, things that I learn. This is because Salih told me I can do what? Train what? My mind. So you guys can train your minds. Right now, you can decide to say that every night I'm going to study 2 chapters, 3 chapters of biology or chemistry or whatever you're studying. And you say that, I will make sure that every night when I study those chapters or 10 chapters a night, and I will make sure I'll retain them. And I will not retain them for only to do an exam, but I will retain them forever. You guys, you want to do something surprise I want to show you? My teacher, who was teaching math, he taught us the thing of direct proportions. It was class 7. I still remember why he wrote down that direct proportion. I still remember the example he gave us. How many years was this? 20-something years ago. I still remember the board. You guys now use whiteboards, right? We used to have blackboard, right? With the old-fashioned chalk, right? So I remember when he was giving us the direct proportions. If A equals to B, B is C equals to D, I do still remember. An example he gave us, I still remember. And many other things I remember vividly. Because I have trained my mind to do that. And a lot of people who succeed, they did that. So you guys, you can do that. But how are you going to get to that? Because remember, Shafi'i said what? What did Shafi'i say? شكوت إلى وكيع سوء حفظي فأرشدني إلى ترك المعاصي فأخبرني بأن العلم نور. So you have to be able to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's guaranteed. If you control your gazes, if you control your desires that you have, if you control your mouth, if you control your ears, what you listen to, if you control your eyes, what you see, if you control your tongue and what you talk, and you don't talk vulgar, you don't gossip people, you don't do that, what have you done? You protected yourself. And now you have allowed yourself to receive the knowledge, because this knowledge you're seeking is a nur, is a light, and Allah will not give it to you if you're Muslim. A non-Muslim, yes, he'll be given. You know why he's given? Why? Because their amal is only in the dunya, right? A dunya, sijn al-mu'min, jannat al-kafir, right? You guys want to go out there and have a dance with a woman, can you do that? No, it's a sijn, you can do that. You want to go out there, drink, take a wine, can you do that? No, you cannot do that. You would like to go out and smoke that, you cannot do that. You would like to gossip, no, you can't do that. Because that's what the jail is for. Jail is like, don't. Islam, it's don't this. There's so many things you desire. Fajr time, you want to sleep, but no, can't sleep. You have to wake up for Fajr, right? It's a sijn for you. But for the Muslim, for the kafir, is what? Jannah, right? Oh, he goes out there, he sleeps with this woman, he sleeps with the other woman, he goes, he drinks, he dances, he steals, he lies, he cheats, he does all kind of stuff, right? Right? Because there's no responsibility for him. But for you and I, we cannot do that. So, you have to correct yourself. That's one thing I want to actually tell you. Another thing, guys, I want to tell you is this. That when you are now embarking on this education that you're doing right now, you're trying to get the knowledge. Remember, education does not end in Form 4. Okay? Education does not what? End in Form 4. Now, if you graduate from Form 4 and you go out there trying looking for a job, where can you find a job? Even a primary teacher has to go to college, right? Right? So you have to understand that the world today, there's a lot of people and there's a few opportunities. You want to be that person who is very competitive, that can actually get that one opportunity that's only available through your hard work. It's a long journey. Another thing I want to ask you is, you want to succeed in this, you have to be having goals. Goals. Set a goal for yourself. I want to be this person. I want to be able to finish at this time. I should be this. And if you fail on your setting your goals, what happens? If you fail, I give you an example like this. If you're running and somebody was chasing you, something was chasing you, and you fall down, what will you do? Will you fall down and wait for the enemy to come catch you, or will you fall down and wait for the animal to come catch you, the lion, or you're going to stand up quickly and run, right? If you fail, if you actually fail in your exams, if you fail in your Form 4, repeat one more year. It's nothing wrong. You just fall down, right? So pick yourself back up again. You start running, right? So people who succeed in this dunya, that's why they say success is a 99% failure. Guys, look at this up. You have a bulb, right? Still have a bulb there? Right? Do you know the person who invented? You guys know him? What is his name? Huh? Where are the physics people? You guys, do you know how the bulb came about? It was invented by someone called Ericsson. Right? Now, Ericsson, he failed 9,999 times. He's trying to make a bulb. He failed, number 1. He failed, number 2. He failed 100 times. He tried again. He tried the 99 times. He tried the 90 times. He continued 100. He continued 200, 300, 900, 90, 91, 92, 99. The 1,000 time is when he was successful actually inventing that bulb that we have today. Right? So just imagine if we quit. If you actually gave up on the first trial. A lot of us will do that, right? You fail, you give up, right? Oh, I could die from 4. Now you're tarmacking. Now 20 years is going to pass very quickly, and you're like, I wish that if I could just go back, just what? 1 year, I won't be where I am, right? So remember, success is not always guaranteed. You have to go through failure. I went through failures, guys. Don't worry, don't look at me right now sitting in front of you guys here with authority. No, I failed many times. I personally failed many times. Okay? But now, does my failure define me? I graduated from my bachelor's degree at a very late stage. Everybody else with me in the school, they graduated. Some are doing their masters. I'm still doing what? My undergrad. Right? But now, when I finished my studies, did Sheikh Shafi'i say this guy, he actually was late? How many years? Did he say that? No, he doesn't say that. He'll tell you you're an engineer. It doesn't matter how many years you've been actually trying to be an engineer. Right? Once you're an engineer, who are you? An engineer, right? What's your doctor? Who are you? Will they tell you that this doctor took 10 years to actually become a doctor? That doctor took him 4 years to become a doctor. Did they tell you that? Did they say that? No. No. Nobody matters those things. Those are just a number. There's a story one guy gave me. He said there were two sisters. There were two sisters. And this is what we have guys nowadays. There were two sisters. And so they both graduated in their undergrad. So one went to straight to work. And the other one going to go, in USA, if you have to do pharmacy, you have to do a couple more years, right? You have to do medicine, you have to do a couple more years. So what happens? She went to go to pharmacy school. She said, man, I feel bad for my sister. She's like, why? She has to go again for another 4 more years of pharmacy. You see that? What's she looking at? She's looking at how many more years she has to what? She has to give her. So, she actually, what she's looking at this woman, the two sisters, this one she's focused. Now here's what happened. Their income, after this lady who going to pharmacy goes to a pharmacist, by the time she starts working, she's going to start earning upwards of 100,000 a year. That's about $10 million Kenyan shillings, right? This one here, she'll be earning like 40,000, right? So she earning 40,000 every year. This one she waited for 4 more years. Right? She started earning what? 100,000 a year. Now look, do the math. So year number 1, she was in a pharmacy school, she had 40,000. Okay, she's still 0, right? Year number 2, she got under 40,000, she has 80,000, right? Year number 3, she got another 40, she has 20,000, she still has 0. Year number 4, she got another 40,000, she has what, 160, right? Right? Look at the math, guys. So now this lady now, she has earned 160,000 in the 4 years this lady was doing what? Pharmacy school, right? With 0 money, right? Now, year number 5, she earned another 40,000. So she has how many now? How much now? 200,000, right? Now this woman, year number 1, she already earned what? 100,000. So now she's far by how many? By how much? 100,000, right? So year number 2 for her, she earned another 100,000. Now year number 6 for her, she earned how many? 240,000, right? Now how many is she offer? She's over by only 40, right? So year number 3 comes for this lady, and she has another 100,000. She's like 300,000. Now year number 3, she's aware. 280. 280, right? Now who's ahead now? Who's ahead now? The pharmacy lady, right? So did the 4 years she going to school, was it good for her or bad for her? And who was feeling bad for the other one? She was feeling bad for her, right? Because that's called what I call it a short-sightedness. She did not see far. She did not see far. She did not see the potential she can actually make. Can you see that? So by year number 4, she has 400,000. How much does she have? 320, right? Now she's ahead of her already right away. And then now, maybe they're going to work 20 more years. Who's going to be richer? The farmers, right? So then when you want to set your goal, we used to say this in, I don't know if you guys see it anymore, that they were saying that if you want to reach the moon, you shoot for the sun, right? Because if you try the sun, you may not get to the sun, but you actually get to the moon. And that's your goal, right? So when you set yourself a goal, set your goal higher. Set goals. Another thing I want to tell you guys is this. Please, I beg you, do not waste your time on things that do not benefit you. What are they? What are they? You all have this? Do you have all this? Yes, you have it, right? It's a smartphone, right? Yeah, it's a smartphone. It makes you dumb. Okay? This is a smart. You're the dumb, the one who's using it. You can live without it. You know how it is? Okay. You have this phone. The main purpose of the phone is for communication, right? But now you, as a student, you're watching movies. Right? Right? You're watching movies. And then some of you, it's funny because I have nieces and I have nephews, right? And now one day I saw a start of somebody, and my nephew, she had someone's name, and the name of that person is a Hindu name. Huh? Yeah, I think your name is Abdullah. And then you want to call yourself Bardesh? You know what a Bardesh do? Bardesh, he actually worship a cow. He's worshiping a what? A rat. Right? He's worshiping a sanam, an idol. and you are Abdullah. Abdullah means the servant of Allah, right? And then you call yourself Bardish because you watch a movie. You saw him, you liked him, the actor. You see how our mind is corrupted? You see that? So now who's smart now? The phone or you? The guy who made the phone, right? So here's another thing. You use that telephone and you watch team. What do you call soccer? All of you have a soccer jerseys. Look, I see Emirates there. I see another group there. What is that? Something. What group is that? What is that? Huh? United. Somebody else. Chelsea. See? Etihad. What's behind you? You see? All these are what? All these are what? These are the uniform that people who play soccer. Do they know you? Huh? Sheikh, you have Arsenal, right? You have Arsenal, right? And what's the number you have back at your back? No number? So who is the best player in Arsenal? Be honest. Tell me, who is it? Huh? Huh? Saka? Sahmia. Okay, whatever you're saying, I don't know. But the question is, you know him, right? Does he know you? Right? Does he know you? Okay. When you're watching him play, right? It's called, they are being paid by how many clicks they actually generate. Right? So he's making millions of dollars by actually you watching him. But does he know you? So you are a student. His job is to play soccer. He's earning millions and millions of euros or of whatever it is that he's earning, right? But you actually are wasting your time to become a teacher, to become a doctor, to become an engineer, to become somebody beneficial for the society because of why you're watching him play. Can you see that? Is that wasting time or not? Right? You're on Facebook. See that status? You're wasting your time. The person who is on Facebook, he earns money. The owner of the Facebook, he is a billionaire. Does he know you? You guys, do you know who owns Facebook? Huh? Who owns it? Huh? You know him? Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg. He knows him. Does he know you? But when you're on Facebook, you see what you call ads, right? The ad you see, you can call what you call it, advertisement. The advertisement you see, or that you see on this Facebook, is actually an income generating for Mark Zuckerberg. So now, when you're actually watching 11 o'clock in the morning here, you're doing this, you're watching this, you're on Facebook. He's sleeping. It's 1 o'clock at night there for him, or 2 o'clock at night for him. He's sleeping, but you're making him money. So you're his cash cow. You see? So me being on Facebook, what have I benefit from it? Does it make me stronger? Does it make me bigger? Does it make me smarter? Does it make me money? No, right? So why are you wasting your time on those kind of things? You are on Instagram, or you look on pictures. Be honest. You look for pictures, you see Halima. She posted a picture, she's going like this. You want to watch it. Right? Yeah, watching the Halima picture is also haram, guys. Remember? Because when you're analyzing her posture and you're looking how nice she is and the curves, what are you doing? Your eyes, you're not controlling your eyes, right? You're on Instagram, you're waiting for dealing all the time, right? Doo-doo. Instagram again, you look at it, it's another picture. How is that going to benefit you? Who owns Instagram, guys? Do you know who owns Instagram? Who owns it? You guys, do you know who owns Instagram? Huh? Do you know? How many of you are on Instagram? Be honest. Just be honest, guys. Just say the truth. How many of you on Instagram? You don't know who owns Instagram. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Basically, it's owned by Mark Zuckerberg. So now, you're making money for him on Facebook. You're making money on what? On Instagram, but you're wasting your time as a student. Can you see that? You're getting dumber by the time. Remember, brothers here, my young children, you have to, as a student, you have to focus on what's going to take you to the next level of your education. Who are those? Teachers? Friends and books, right? So, coming to friends. Do not make up friends that people who will tell you, let's go watch soccer. Your friend should not be the person who is telling you, let's go sleep and watch Facebook. Your friend should not be the one who tell you that, hey, subscribe to my Instagram. Right? Right? Nowadays, waxaa arkay sheekh waxaa soo baxay hadda baaga hore hadda waxaa jira dad moogtay dad magan dhawas. Now people now beg now in a very good fashion. Allah ku barakeeyo subscribe isar. You get that all the time? Huh? You get that all the time? Right? wuxuu ku leeyahay ilaahay ka cabso subscribe isar. ilaahay ka cabso subscribe isar isma laho labadooda. Right? Film buu soo geliyay meesha. He put a clip there, right? Music. He's telling you, you see, it doesn't make sense, right? Because we are not thinking ahead of time. You have to think. So don't waste on friends that actually lure you into the wrong places. Your friend should be the one who tell you, hey, Abdi, we got to study in 2 hours. So get your act together. Let's go to the class and study together. Right? Your friend should be the one who actually comes Fajr time, wakes you up and says, Sheikh, it's Salah time, let's go pray. That's a good friend. That's the friend you want to hold dear to yourself. You do not want to have a friend who will tell you, Sheikh, let's go stay at night until 1 o'clock, watch a movie, watch something, sleep and then sleep through Fajr, wake up for 8 o'clock for Quran and then go to class at 9 o'clock while you're still sleeping. Right? The last thing I want to end with this. It's something I want to start with, but now I'm ending with it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abdullah bin Abbas, he says, "Kuntu radif sallallahu alaihi wasallam." What does a radif mean? Kuntu radif sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What does a radif mean? Radif is a passenger, right? Huh? So I am now Sheikh Shuja''s passenger. He didn't drive me around, right? At that time, there was no vehicle at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What was there at that time? What was there? A horse or what? A donkey or a camel, right? Those three, right? So now he's actually now on a donkey, on a donkey, and the passenger now the passenger is sitting next to you, but now that passenger was sitting behind the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now Abdullah bin Abbas is a small kid. He's about 10 years old. Okay? He's a 10-year-old. Look at this, guys. I'm about to finish, guys. Be patient with me, inshallah. He says this. Ya ghulam inni u'allimuka kalimatin. Right? I'm going to teach you a few statements. I'm going to teach you a few words. Okay? فاحفظها. Okay? فاحفظها, right? Hold on to them. Memorize them. Mind them. What are they? احفظ الله يحفظك. Be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will be what? Mindful of you. Right? You always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will always remember you. احفظ الله تجده تجاهك. Be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will find him by your side. Now, if Allah is your side, which means Allah is your helper, Allah is the one who is protecting you, Allah is the one who is actually taking care of your affairs, who do you want? Who do you need? Who do you need, guys? Do you need anybody? Do we need anybody else? No. So you're not that much older than Abdullah ibn Mas'ud at the time. He was about 10 or 9 years old. Right? Right? And some of you are only 16. I'm teaching the same thing. I'm writing this hadith. احفظ الله يحفظك. احفظ الله تجد تجاهك. فإذا سألت فاسأل من؟ فاسأل الله. You guys know the hadith. Do you do that really? Huh? وإذا استعنت فاستعن بالله. وإذا استعنت فاستعن بالله. When if you ask for something, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you must seek help, seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then also said, وَعَلَمْ. Right? And know that أَنَّ مَا أَصَابَكَ لَمْ يَكُنْ لِيُخْطِئَكَ. That what actually befall on you, be it a calamity, be it a blessing, be it a bounty, it was not to actually what they call miss you. Right? وَأَنَّ مَا أَخْطَأَكَ لَمْ يَكُنْ يُصِيبَكَ. Right? That whatever missed you, don't say that, oh man, I jumped out of the road. No, you didn't jump out of the road, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not will for you to be hit by that car. Right? And when you hit by a car, don't say, I was sitting on the road, or don't blame the person because I was sitting on the road, you're walking the wrong way. No, it's not, because that was supposed to actually hit you regardless. I watched my own eyes one time. During that time, none of you was born. There was no many vehicles as today now. There was only be just one police car running around, the Dior car, and then one car for the, a couple of cars for the rich people who are actually the businessmen, right? So there's not many cars. The Dior car, the DC, the PC car, those are cars we actually see here around the city. What happened? I saw there's a lady who she was sitting, she was waiting for the car to pass. She see a car coming. We are, where the number is now? That's where we were standing. Next to is the waterworks where it used to be, right? So now we're standing there, on that junction there. And she waited for the car to come. And she just waited. Everybody else is waiting. She's carrying milk. And when the car was at this post that you see the pole here, she ran to the car. It hit her so hard that she became two pieces. This part of her jumped up the car on the roof, and the other part went under the car. She instantly became two pieces, right away. And she waited. This car was coming all the way from far. We could see it. She waited. So what happened? Because that was the last moment for her. Her time was over, right? That car was actually meant to kill her. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed that car will kill her at that instant moment. And so the moment when it came, she ran to the car that she waited for so long to pass. Can you see that? So, وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ مَا أَصَابَكَ لَمْ يَكُنْ. So we could say that time, when we said, we didn't understand. I was young myself. Right? We didn't understand that. But that was not supposed to miss her. It was supposed to hit her at that moment. رفعت الأقلام وجفت الصحف. This was whatever you're going to go through. But remember, Allah also has put your success in your own hand. إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. Brothers, my children, we're tired. Every time the society, the Somalis are always below, they're underperforming in your schools. It's a shame. 20-something years ago, it was the same thing. It's still the same thing. We have this many students, and only maybe 3 or 5 will go to university. Is it not a big loss for us? We want to change that. Can you guys change that? That inshallah, put yourself, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change it, will not bring things in your head until you sit down and you have patience to study. So change yourself. And come with the asbab, come with the reasons. وَجَعَلْنَا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَبَبًا. Right? That everything that happens to you, Allah has a reason for it. Be the reason for your own success. Be the reason for what? For your own success. In this dunya and the hereafter. I want you guys to be the shining stars for this society. I want you to be the scholars for tomorrow, to be the leaders of tomorrow. And you cannot be a scholar, and you cannot be a leader until you decide right now, I want 20 years from now, 10 years from now, I want to be leading this society, I want to be somebody in this society. You have to start right now. If you are from 4, and you're going to do your exams when? In November, right? Huh? November? March? Now, you guys who missed last year, that's how it is? Okay. You still have a lot of money. You have 60 days. More than that, maybe. You can actually turn on your life for 60 days. If you study every day, if you sit down and study and study and study and focus and stop playing with this thing and only use this only for communication. Okay? Brothers, let me tell you this. I was born way many years before you. Right? I don't have a Facebook. I am a professional. I work as a professional, right? I don't have a Facebook. I don't need Facebook. I'm not on YouTube. I hope you guys are not going to put me on YouTube. Are you guys going to put me on YouTube? Somehow? You think about it? We'll talk about that inshallah. So the only time you see me on YouTube is when people put me on YouTube. I don't have a Facebook. I don't have an Instagram. Used to have a MySpace. I never had it. Right? I don't have those things. I don't have TikTok. Oh, subhanallah, TikTok again. Right? Right? The other day I visited a house, right? A small lady. She must have been watching TikTok. She cannot sit. You know, there's a disease, okay, that actually befalls people. Normally, it's kind of like something that happens with your brain. You lose the control of your muscles, right? So you trick all the time. This little girl, she's about 9, 10 years old. I was saying, I'm watching her, and I'm sure it's the effect of TikTok. Because why is she doing this? She wants to dance, but I'm sitting there in front of her, right? So she can dance. So she has to now, her urge is to dance what she saw on TikTok, but then she sees me sitting and then she has to. So now she's acting like she's having tics, right? She goes like this. And then she stops. It's a small kid. Now tell me that kid, are they going to memorize the Quran? Will they? Will they? No. So inshallah, I am urging you. Number 1, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 2, be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 3, be mindful of your neighbors among yourselves. Be a good Muslim. Number 4, work hard, study hard, train your body, train your mind, change your thinking. Start thinking positive. Start thinking far. Start actually seeing the future right now, the way you can be. Okay? Guys, I started a very humble life. I grew up a very poor person. Okay? Most of you here are richer than me when I was growing up. Most of you here are way richer than me when I was growing up. Right? But now, when I'm walking around, Sheikh Shuja', he didn't say this guy was poor. Did he say that? No. Everyone forgot my poor. Those who kids who are rich, they forgot that I was poor. I want to end this story here. You like story? Right? This is the last story, inshallah. There's a guy, we used to go to school together in a primary school. When he comes to school, he used to come with a big, nice, what do you call, saloon car, right? Very nice car, right? He dropped off in the school. We see his car. His father will come pick him up. No, a driver will come pick him up. He goes back home. We used to see that. I see my aunts. He used to wear the best shirts and best ma'awiz and the best sneakers, right? I mean, best sports shoes. He had those nice shoes that I could not even afford at that time, right? It never crossed my mind I'm going to buy those shoes. But he had them. 2015, I'm walking around and he stops me and says, Sheikh, can you give me $1? He's begging me now. Okay? 15 years later, he's doing what? What's he doing? He's begging me. He's asking me what? If I have what? 100 shilling. Right? He's asking for 100 shilling. This is the guy who was wearing what? Expensive clothes. What happened, do you think? What happened is he failed in his school. He failed everywhere. His father chased him out. He said, now he's in his 30s. He has nowhere to go. Now he stopped. He looked at me, mashallah, look at this. And then he runs behind me and he says, Sheikh, you see? Huh? You see what I'm saying? So, Sheikh Shufaa was saying last night, something I had a long time ago. ليس المرء ليس الفتى من يقول كان أبي إنما الفتى من يقول ها أنا ذا. Ha. Okay? A person is not the one who's saying my father used to be. You cannot bask in the glory of your father. Your father's wealth is his wealth, right? If he helps you, that's fine. Enjoy it. Make use of it and make advantage of it. But a person is the one who says, here I am today. This is who I am today. I made myself this guy. I made myself this scholar. I made myself this teacher. I made myself this what? This engineer, this doctor, this leader that you see today. Not my father was a leader. Not my father was a sheikh. Not my father was a rich person. Right? No, that's not a person. That is example exactly. When I saw that guy, I remembered that saying. Okay? ليس الفتى من يقول كان أبي. Right? I remember that quickly. That is an example. My father was. Yeah, your father was. Who are you now? You want to answer that question for yourself? جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.